Hey everybody, it's Eileen from the Seasonal Home, and I'm just stopping by to share some of my Easter and spring decorating with you, as well as some helpful decorating hints. These are my peeps that I sell the pattern for on my website. It's the large, the medium, and the mini. And of course I've got it in my trusty little black urn that I use for almost every single holiday. And if you notice, I didn't even paint one of the peeps. I just left her all plain. You can see it's made out of styrofoam, but how beautiful is she with just a pretty bow. And let's head on in. And starting the living room, not a whole lot here, trying to keep things a little bit simple for me. And I just have a spring banner and a few nested eggs. And this is a little hint: if you don't have any way of hanging a banner on your fireplace mantle or on your tabletop, just use something heavier that you can use to hold it in place. And then swing around to the coffee table, I used a raffia type tray. It's like a flat basket, and I used a succulent, a candle inside a lantern, a garden implement, and these metal bunnies, who I think are just adorable if you can see them. Sorry it's a little dark, we're expecting some rain. And just a couple of eggs. And then heading into my family room. This is a planter that I found at Michael's. It's meant to be a window planter because it has hanging implements on the back, but I just stuffed it with some artificial grass, some little sparkly eggs, which really reflect nicely off this little set of fairy lights that I wove in between them, and a couple of white bunnies that also glisten. And it makes just a beautiful little planter for the spring season. Heading over to my fireplace, I just gathered some things from around my house and out of my storage. The only thing I actually bought was that Fresh Flower Market sign, which was the inspiration for this look. And I hung it with just using some sheer ribbon suspended from an old frame that I found at a garage sale for a couple of dollars and whitewashed. Everything else I already had. I'll give you a little look. This stone bunny came from my garden, and I did buy the ivy garland, and I loved it because it was two-tone, which is another way of making things look a little less artificial. Instead of vases, I love my stainless steel planters, and I use those during the off-season to store my Christmas flowers. Matter of fact, these flowers, excuse me, have actually been on one of my Christmas trees before, these hydrangeas. And as you can see, I put a little set of lights in the background to backlight it. This is a little bunny welcome sign, and I love to use these brick clips. If you go to the DIY store, you'll find them. It's a great way to not have to use a hammer and nail, because I don't know if you've ever tried to get a nail through a cement block, which is what's in between these bricks, but it's not fun. And then down below, gathered some more things from around my house and out of my storage. Added the little bunny ears to my bird, which is a nice way to make something every day look festive. I love how Mother Nature gave this bunny from my backyard a beautiful patina. And then this is a very old watering can that just hangs out in the backyard. And if you notice, when I set things together, I go in an up and down pattern. It flows so much nicer. If you look from left to right, you'll see how things vary in size and height. And also how I repeat a color. If you notice, I also have this vase, this garden implement, the bunny, and the lantern, all in the white or off-white color. And I distributed them fairly evenly. It just creates a nice flow in your design. I also did a little decoration over here, which was just one of my bunnies made out of my mini bunny pattern. And I put him in a little garden box with a couple of daisy planters on each side. And tucked in some eggs and an uplight, which is just one of those punch-on lights that you find at some of the like BJ's and Sam's and Kirkland's. Let me give you a little peek. Let's just stick it in there and it gives it a nice little glow. It really looks good at nighttime. I actually have fairy lights in this ivy wreath as well, and I even stuck them into the flowers here. But again, you'll be able to see those better at night. Speaking of the flowers, I just bought one bouquet of purple flowers and took it apart and put them throughout the greenery that I had put into this stainless steel vase. It's a nice way to make your decorating dollar go a little further. Now we'll head into the kitchen. Sorry if I'm going too fast. But in here I wanted to do a yellow, black, and white theme. And some of the helpful hints I'll share with you in here. I wanted to bring in my silk tulips, and of course you could use real tulips as well. But I didn't want you to be able to see the stems, so I used white plastic eggs to disguise those. Looked really nice. If you were going to use fresh tulips, you could put a glass vase in the center and then add the white eggs. Up in the chandelier, you'll see these little fill them yourself eggs. They're just plastic at the craft stores. And I just put a little bit of moss and some of those little tiny yellow fuzzy chicks. And I also took a floral garland and wound it throughout the chandelier. I love how my chandelier makes a floral pattern on the ceiling. I think that's so cool. Talk about a bonus. And hope you can see that okay. Sorry about the lighting. Speaking of garland, I also added one to my curtain rod, which is a nice way to bring a touch of spring into the house. It's all about bringing the outdoors in when it comes to spring. Down on my console table, I found one of those Ray Dunn jars at Home Goods that says sweet on it. I use it for every holiday. It's kind of nice to think about when you buy a jar with verbiage on it. Make sure it's one that you could use for Christmas, Halloween. And the word sweet certainly goes with every different holiday. And I just put a few malted milk balls on top of some Easter grass. This is a really cool light up gingerbread birdhouse that I found on QVC. I think they still have them. I love how they did it in the spring colors. And then you've all seen my 3-tiered Farmhouse Server. I love to decorate it. I think it gets me back to dollhouse days. I'll give you a little tour of this. I bought some of that fake grass and just cut it to fit. And these are light up chicks, as well as ones that don't light up. LOL. I incorporated the black and white by using black and white eggs. There's some polka dotted and striped ones. I love the light up chicks because they really add a nice touch of lighting to darker spaces. Because this, being a 3-tiered display, sometimes it gets a little dark on the lower levels. Guess I need to straighten that little guy up. Looks like he's a little cart heavy. And then in my black cabinets, you'll notice that the plate chargers are a very light yellow color. Hopefully you can see that. Could not find those even though I wanted them anywhere, so I just took a can of spray paint and created them. I took some inexpensive plate chargers, and you can find them at the dollar stores, and spray painted them the color I wanted. And there's some more of those light up chicks. And you probably remember these buffalo check plates from last fall. I used them at Christmas. Kind of into those at the moment. But isn't that nice that they go with every season just by changing the background color or the accent color? That's a nice little piece of artwork I found at Kirkland's, by the way, if you're looking for it and you like it. And you remember my curtains during Christmas, they were red with the buffalo check. I just removed the red and added yellow. Actually sewed a whole new set, but this time with yellow. Goes great with everything. Really cheered the house up. This is a cute little set of trio birds. And then I have it on the other side as well. Maybe you can see that yellow color a little better over here. And then heading over here, this is kind of simple but fun. I had this bunny cookie jar, and cookie jars can be freestanding, but it's also nice if you want to pop them up for a little more importance, which I did here on a cake plate stand. It has a lettuce leaf theme, which I've had for years. I think I got it from Cracker Barrel. And if you have an extra little bit of spray paint, you might want to consider spray painting something else in your yard, like your clay pots, which is what I did here. And then I just hot glued a little bit of gingham ribbon, and it created a nice little springy look. More of those plates up here, and a couple of more yellow chicks. And then head on over to, excuse my mess. I do live here, sometimes unfortunately. These are a couple of little foil chicks, and they're actually ornaments, as you can see. But don't they look cute on either side of my plant that I always keep in my little kitchen window. And I repeated the black and yellow and white by making a valance. Over in this little corner, I have this cute little house. It's called the Easter Egg Painting Studio. It's by Department 56. I love to use my little light up houses on cake plates over by where I work the hardest, which is in the kitchen. It just brings me so much joy to create a little scene that I can look at. Provides me with so much happiness. Some of the accents came with this house, and some of them I added. Like this little Easter ornament. Believe it or not, it is an Easter ornament. So you can see the ornament hook, and it's from Hallmark from several years ago. It's a little tender touch, they called it. I love how he's so cute in the scene. You can even see inside the windows, which is nice. And I put a black and white buffalo check platter behind this as well. And then on my little side shelves, I did some cute little things, some foil bunnies, chocolate eggs, a little chocolate cupcake, and then these little light up houses that I also found on QVC. I love to create my scenes using other little miniatures. And I can't quite reach that top one, but maybe you can see it. So, one more thing I'd like to share with you as we head outside. I'll give you one more look at the kitchen. Everyday living there going on. And the family room. Out in the backyard, I decided to add a little touch of Easter by hanging some Easter eggs from my crepe myrtle. I hope you can see them. It's not too glared out because it is the middle of the day. And thanks to my sons, I just finished my herb garden. I already had great luck with oregano and rosemary. So I decided to spread my wings a little and add some more things, some eggplant, cilantro, cucumber. And I love to go and pick things like this out of the recycle. If someone's like getting rid of it and they've got it next to their recycle container, I'll grab something as cute as this, like this little gate. Why would you throw that away? I don't even know. But I'm so glad they did, because I got it. And this one's a little more rustic, but it'll be great for the vines to climb up when they start growing. So that's it. A little touch of Easter, and I hope you have a wonderful Easter. Thank you for letting me share all of my creativity for Easter, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday.